Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is September 23rd, 2018. My name is Eric Peterson. Joining me 2 days, Dan Curtis.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
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 Huh?
Is that Jess?
Thought she turned into Dead Scarlet.
Or possibly Mike. Never been sure.
No, Mike is not a Jess. Or no longer a Jess.
Ah, I see.
That was his given name at birth. No longer a Jess Tyson.
Now, I just briefly mentioned this on the Unwrapped, but I listened to the start of last week's show, and I have to say it was spectacular how dumb it got really, really quickly last week. I mean, the soup bra was quite the invention, even for us.
We have one of those shows every once in a while where it just, the perfect culmination of stupid just boils over.
It just takes one thing, really, doesn't it?
And it's typically me misinterpreting what somebody says.
Yes, that's
how we got...
Eric, honestly, mate, that is probably 93% of this show.
That's how we got...
2%, with 2% being retro video games and 5% being dick and fart jokes.
So we are at 105%.
No, I said 93%, 2%, 5%. That is 100%.
I thought you said 98%. See,
No,
I don't listen. Case in
that's
point.
Math. You really don't. Ever since I've known this guy, he just doesn't listen. I'm like, remember I told you that last week? Nope. Never. FF.
Never.
Why
But not
you?
listening is how we got the fantastic bread wren.
Oh, yeah, the bread wren.
Yeah. See?
Yes. I remember. That was a Christmas episode, wasn't it?
I think it was last year, yeah.
Was it only last year?
Maybe 2 years
God,
ago. Christmas
I've
is
been
coming
doing-
up. Holy
It is
crap.
coming up.
14 Fridays until Christmas.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. We've got some special stuff in store for everyone this Christmas.
We're going to dress up like Santa and come down your chimney.
I'm just going to kick in the front door. Christmas here.
Merry Christmas. Give
Where
me some
them
liquor.
cookies?
You
It's
got damn
Santa.
near carrots?
Hell, I ain't dropping anything off. I'm walking out with stuff. Hell, I'm just robbing the place.
You got some eggnog there? Yeah,
Mike-
abusive Santa.
Mike and Tom are not here today, as you can tell.
Yes, they're not. So
Mike is...
I'm slightly concerned about this.
Mike is... what the hell's the name of that place?
Lanzarote.
Okay. That sounds like a really bad knockoff sports car. What do
Mike
you got that
Tyson
new
drives the
Maserati?
Seat Lanzarote.
I couldn't afford that Maserati. I went out and got me a Lanzarote.
What do you think of the Seat Lanzarote, young lady? Well, I think it's really nice because I can't hear that really loud man inside it because it's soundproofed.
The new soundproof Lanzarote. Scream to your heart's content.
Completely butt rock proof.
Special roof window for your hair to flow out luxuriously.
Show off your 3 chest hairs with the retractable roof in the summer.
Separate driver and passenger compartments so everyone can scream to their heart's content and not bother each other.
And for the more dignified gentleman, introducing the Seat SmoothMobile.
Oh, man. You never touched a car so smooth.
So smooth. You can... what was I going to say?
I don't know, but it's probably dumb.
So dumb.
The smoothest handling on the road. And in your pants.
Relax in the passenger seat as your personal butler drives you from place to place.
SmoothMobile. In case you didn't get it, Dan, that's Tom's
sounds like
car.
something of GTA.
Oh, God. I hope they never tap us on the shoulder to come up with stuff.
Where is Yomothy anyway?
I think Yom is entertaining Kat's parents.
Ah, is he doing a juggling act or something to that effect?
He's taken the role of old British jester. He is doing a tumbling act in his living room.
Jeeves, dance for the plebeians.
Much to the dismay of her parents, who are throwing half-ripe tomatoes.
Tom, we've told you about the jester thing. Please stop.
But her parents are so fancy. I don't think people like
Mr. and Mrs. Curtis. Hang on, I hear the smooth phone ringing. Jeeves, to the SmoothMobile.
Take the smooth slide down to the smooth cave.
The smooth cave does not sound like what it is.
That's who. That's when Tom meets his counterpart. Doesn't have a smooth area, has a smooth cave. Gross.
Smooth cave. Yeah, I like them smooth caves. I just got a mental image of Mike in that car, shouting his head off, and nobody can hear him.
Even with the windows down, it can't hear. It just drives around emitting white noise that cancels out the frequency of Mike's voice.
We need to invent this stat.
I just have a picture of this really hideous knockoff angular sports car with Mike's hair coming out of a little tube at the top, flowing out the back like Abe's hair from Oddworld.
I like it.
Oh, man.
Oh God, we're so stupid.
I like the SmoothMobile. Handling so smooth, you won't believe that you're driving off a cliff.
Now, see, not many supervillains get their own mobile, but we think Tom deserves it.
Yeah, he does.
I don't think we've actually introduced Mike's supervillain alter ego yet, have we?
The hair.
The hair.
Yeah.
So, it's now the Camel Cran and Jug Buns versus
Versus-
Dr. Smooth Area and the hair.
Just picture him as like this clump of hair that you pull out of the shower drain.
Possibly like Cousin It from...
But infected. Or he's the remnants of hair on Tom's smooth area.
Oh, I like it. That's a good backstory.
Yeah. Shaved it off and it became sentient. Sentient smooth area hair.
After being dunked in some green goo, the hair was born.
After a bad night out. I'm not going down that road. I'm not going down that road because it involved a lot
Dr.
of...
Smooth Area will never forget the night he put hair removal cream on his crotch. The next morning, it was all gone, and Dr. Smooth Area was born. 3 days later, so was the hair.
Oh, man. How are you, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good.
You good?
I've been on Floppy Wibble. It's all good.
Floppy Wibble.
I went to either Ireland or Iceland. We're not sure which. Either way, it's definitely other het.
Well, here's why I think my theory holds up on you going to Ireland, because I'm sure at some point you are going to announce that you claim you fixed your computer. I think you just went to Ireland to pick a new potato.
You're on to me.
Damn it!
Oh, you see through my plans straight away. God damn it. No, I did go to Iceland. It's land
Did
of
you
ice.
check your accidental incest app?
I heard you talking about this, and I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah. Apparently they like to
Thankfully,
kiss their
I'm pretty
cousin.
sure I'm not related to many Icelandic people, so
You never know. Did you bump phones?
I didn't bump phones.
Oh. Well, then you never know. You may have met your cousin.
I did actually take my missus, so if I did do that, I don't think she'd approve.
Did you bump her phone to make sure she's not your cousin? Strange things happen in Iceland.
Also in head.
The hell, we've never met before. How are we suddenly cousins? Iceland will do that to you.
You're my father's brother's uncle's former roommate.
Oh, damn.
Spaceballs reference for you
Yeah,
there.
I think we got it.
You got it.
Yeah. Got it, Dan. We got it.
Just checking. I like to make sure you get my jokes. Not 3 years in advance.
We just got to make sure you understand things, Dan.
It's you who doesn't understand things. Frickin' Banjo Tooie.
I don't
So
get it still.
what's been going on in Peterson Land?
We're buying a house.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well.
Gonna turn it into the Peterson hut.
it's the same house you live in, though, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. You don't have to move.
I hate moving, so yeah, you're right there.
I moved a ton growing up.
But what I'm concerned about is, right, so we've got this impending trip in January, and you earlier this week just shared a picture which I assume was about board games, but there was just a scorpion on the wall in the top of the picture.
Just hanging out.
And instantly everybody went, is that a scorpion?
That's Hank the House Scorpion. He's our number 4 when we don't have a fourth person for a 4-player board game.
So where the hell am I going to go? So I don't think we should reveal the activities we're getting up to next January just yet, because no doubt everything will be documented in video
Well,
form,
we can give
like
teasers.
the London trip. We're going to be throwing things.
We're going to channel our inner Kratos.
Yes.
Although I still don't know how the hell we're going to line that up. I've never even heard of that, but apparently Kat's got it all squared up.
Yeah, she'll find out. She'll find it.
You know what we should do? We should do indoor skydiving.
Indoor skydiving.
You guys don't have that over there?
It's the big fans and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I ain't good with heights, mate.
You only go like 8 feet.
8 feet is too high.
You're like 6 feet tall.
If I ain't on the ground, I ain't happy.
You look down at your feet like, oh shit, I'm getting woozy.
The vertigo's kicked in again.
I gotta sit down, but that's a long ways down. Holy crap.
Well, when you have dizzy spells of banging your heads off a low ceiling for this long, you know, you've got to kind of sort yourself out and just keep yourself grounded.
I found the area that Kat wants to take us. Yep, we're gonna do it.
Smooth area?
Well, she goes to Tom's Smooth area on a frequent basis.
That's possibly too much information.
I guess.
So, darling, you want some buffing action this evening?
I got a new jar of rubbing compound.
Fetch the Mr. Sheen and the marigolds.
Got a new microfiber cloth. I'm gonna buff that to a sparkling sheen. Why does Kat sound like a really bad radio host?
She does, doesn't she?
No, she sounds like she should be Queen of England.
Hello, Thomas. Let me buff your smooth area.
Is that your Queen impression?
Yes. The Queen puts on her front. Me and Liz, right, we're tight. So I know how she speaks behind closed doors.
She just turns into some guttural slob.
Yes. That is exactly right.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're getting close. What are we, like 3-4 months away from the impending trip.
Yeah, 4 months, I think.
And then 2 weeks from Friday, the WWE tickets go on sale.
Oh,
So-
they released them really late. I thought it would be like last year.
Yeah. Well,
Something
you can buy
like
third party and
earlier
all
this
that,
year.
but I'm going to go down to the field and be like, I need 7 tickets.
Well, 7 of us going.
Well, I thought it was just going to be the guys, and then Mike's like, no, Hazel wants to come, and then she sent me a really angry message about, like, I'm coming, you pig. Okay, well, that's my Hazel impression. Honestly, I'm glad the girls are going to come. I think it'd be a blast if we all went.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know nothing about wrestling, though, do you?
Oh, hell no. Not a thing. I just know that it's a bunch of sweaty dudes in underwear touching each other.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
So
Occasionally women as well.
Tom said that Kat would like to go, and then I just said, Christy, you're coming with. So here we go.
Fair enough.
Very.
I'm looking forward to that. I've been to a couple of wrestling shows, and they're really good fun, actually.
I remember going to one when I was a kid and asking my dad if we could leave partway through it because it was too loud.
Oh, you're such a pussy.
I was like 8.
Even so. Daddy, the men are too sweaty.
They're too glistening. Yeah, so
I think Dr. Smooth Area would be a good wrestler as well, actually, as well as a supervillain.
he would be a good
Nobody could touch him because he's so smooth.
just like a greased pig.
Oh, and he's going for the suplex, but Dr. Smooth Area has slithered out of it again.
That doesn't make that sound. Oh, God. Dan,
We miss you, Ragsy. Come back, Ragsy.
I went on an airplane trip last
did?
week.
I loved you put on Facebook. Fight over the Grand Canyon.
Hey, I was typing that stuff up from 5,000 feet above the Grand Canyon.
So he did a Facebook Live video. So basically, but explain what you did first. Go ahead.
Some of our partners at work put together a special thank you trip for certain reps, and I got to go. And it was a private flight from Phoenix up to Sedona and then up to the Grand Canyon for a pink Jeep tour, and then a flight over a part of the Grand Canyon that only this company has. They're one of the only companies that has access to fly over this airspace above the Grand Canyon. So we're in this little 9-seater Cessna plane, and I'm doing some live videos, and apparently I forgot to spell check.
It was just funny. I expected to load it up, and you were in this plane having a fight in mid
Channeling my
on the
Steven
wings and everything.
Seagal. Yeah.
That would have been better. I was a bit disappointed, actually.
It was a kind of a nerve-wracking flight. I love to fly. I mean, I wanted to be a pilot growing up, but turbulence on a jumbo jet is way different than turbulence on a little tiny shoebox with wings. And
yeah, well, you notice it even when you're not on when you're on one of the smaller planes, not necessarily one of the huge ones, you notice the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Even then, so...
Well, the way up, I was sitting in the co-pilot seat, so that's where there's the least amount of turbulence, and I'm like, this is still kind of bad. And then,
what does this button do?
Is this the rockets? Where's the chaff?
Sir, you've just ejected our fuel supplies. Oh, well.
Oh, shit. Better take her down. There's a big hole in the ground. So then on the way home, I was sitting in the way back just because there were 7 of us, and then we stopped in Sedona and picked up this other couple who was on their honeymoon. And the people at our company, we're pretty rowdy, and we're like, as soon as we get on the plane, we're all busting out flasks at like 9 a.m, just pouring drinks. And this couple gets on, and this lady is terrified of flying, just absolutely terrified. And they're sitting in the absolute way back where the turbulence is the worst. And as soon as they get on, look around, we're like, hey, there's some turbulence, so hopefully you like flying. And she's like, I am terrified of it. And she just clutches onto her husband's arm. And I understand why she was terrified, because at the back of the plane, we were flying over the Grand Canyon, and that turbulence was wild. I was feeling motion for like 7 hours after I got home.
Oh my God.
It was bad. And I
That
don't
sounds
get
awful.
motion sickness or car sickness, but it was rough. But it
So
was cool.
Basically, she hasn't got over a fear of flying and is now 100% worse.
Oh,
Excellent.
absolutely.
Oh, that poor woman.
But I think
Feel
the
her
best
pain.
thing to come out of that trip was my pink Jeep picture. Bait, bait.
That was excellent.
We were walking back we had the coolest tour guide, and we were walking back to the Jeep, and I looked at her, I'm like, do you mind if I lay sexily across the hood? She's like, be my guest. So crawl
You
up
know
there.
what? There's actually a photo of me in Australia where I'm doing exactly the same pose.
Is it a pink Jeep?
It's not a pink Jeep. It's at the pinnacles where all the rocks are and things, but I'm in front of them and Crystal hates it. She thinks I look like a complete sleazeball. But
I
it's
need
so
to see
funny.
it.
It's so funny.
You have to send it to me.
I will send it to you later, yes.
Yes, please do. Yeah, there's a whole tour bus on one side of Chinese tourists, and I'm just laying there on the pink Jeep looking all attractive with a little bit of my midriff showing.
You definitely did. Do you know what I was wondering? You know how you're flying over the Grand Canyon?
Yeah.
Did you spot the pineapple that you chucked into it about 8 years ago?
Yep, there was a nice little orchard down at the bottom.
See, a lot of other factory sealed audience are probably not familiar with this. So, back in the day, when we were doing Manatang, Eric was known for his engraved pineapple slicer, which he got as a gift. Who
A
did you get it
wedding
off?
gift from my dad, because he called us up before a wedding. He's like, hey, what do you guys want for your wedding? I see that your registry is mostly bought out. I don't know. He's like, if you don't tell me what you want, I'm going to buy you an engraved pineapple slicer. I'm like, that's what I want. Sure as shit, we're at home after the wedding opening presents, and this one's from Dad, and we pull it out, and it's an engraved pineapple slicer. Eric and Christy, wedding date.
What a guy. But in honour of this, because it became a point of conversation on the Manatang podcast, Eric was known for this for quite a while. So he actually recorded himself throwing a pineapple into the Grand Canyon.
That video's still out there somewhere. I'm
It
afraid
is.
that there's going to be a knock on my door like, sir, you were littering in a national park. Here's a citation.
I'm kind of worried that the pineapple's going to get sentient and grow loads of pineapples in the Grand Canyon.
It's just going to take over. It becomes an invasive species.
Yeah. What, like, about 50 years' time, there'll be some like bizarre phenomenon where these pineapples start growing in the Grand Canyon. And everybody like, what's how did this happen?
Damn you, Eric.
We'll find that video where you're so proud of yourself on the video where you chuck it in as well. You go solid.
Solid. Well, yeah, my very first episode on Manitank, I'm eating something. Like dinner had just gotten done, and I was just finishing up. I'm like, what are you eating? Like, and freshly cut pineapple. They're like, freshly cut pineapple. I'm like, yeah, with my pineapple slicer. And it just went downhill from there.
Yep, this is what happens even to this day with this show, to be quite honest.
I think we have a couple diehards who have followed us since then.
We have, I think. There was a few. I don't know if they're around since the Voldemort Towers podcast.
That's crazy to think, though. Like, back then, people that were listening to us, I know we had some younger teenage people who were listening to us, but like they're old enough to drink now. They're in their 20s. Like, we have been with them through their formative teenage years.
We accept no responsibility for any damage caused.
Like that, we always add that disclaimer to anybody who joins the Facebook group, which if you want to join it, it's facebook.com/group/Factory Seal Podcast.
Marvelous plug, my friend. Well done.
Segway.
That was beautiful. I liked that one a lot.
Did you?
It
Just kind of rolled.
It's just so like smooth, you know?
Like a large area.
Yeah, like a really shiny, smooth area in car form.
Ooh. The SmoothMobile. Yeah, so like whenever somebody's like, hey, I'm new to the podcast, first comment's like, hey, we're not responsible. Sorry for your brain cells. Welcome to
I
the
feel
show.
it's just become a trend now. It's just, yeah. But it's always good to see new people. I know there's a lot of people out there who probably aren't on Facebook and don't join the community and stuff, but the community has just grown into its own thing. It's just taken over, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, and the nice thing is it's not too big.
No.
You know,
I like it small.
It grow. Oh yeah, well, good thing for you then.
Yeah.
Penis joke.
Oh, put it on the telly. We got no room left.
Bert starts singing.
I'm feeling happy today.
Just jumps up and clicks his heels.
It's a gosh darn video game podcast special.
No, come back, Bert. Dan.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Great. Guess what?
No, not this shit again.
Is that Tom? I did something that you didn't think I was going to do.
It's definitely not jacking it.
Okay.
It's definitely not touching your bum hole.
Okay. The old brown ballerina.
Not that again. Go ahead. I'm out.
I finished Spider-Man.
Wow. What? I can't
You'd
believe
be a
it.
terrible
You never
actor.
finish a game ever.
I finished this one.
I think you finished God of War as well, didn't you?
I did.
God, you're on a roll.
I know. 2 games this year.
Honestly, I think I'm pretty much right with this. I picture you as getting a game. The very rare ones that you actually open, you put in for about 20 minutes, go, well, that was okay, and just never see it again.
It's essentially what I did with the Dark Souls remaster.
Really?
Put it in and went, not in the mood for this.
You'll go back to it at some point. It's Dark Souls.
Since we're on Dark Souls, I played the network stress test for the Switch.
Okay.
I was talking to Zach about this. It's cool. It's great that Dark Souls is running on the Switch. It's a little cumbersome to play in handheld mode, but I think I've been spoiled with the PS4 version and running at 60 frames. It's just buttery smooth on the PS4, and you drop off of that.
I have concerns about Blighttown on the Switch.
Yeah. Like, okay, it's a little rough.
If you're not familiar with Dark Souls Blighttown, the original release it just tanked. That section was hard enough as it is without the frame rate dipping, but my God, did it dip.
Oh, man. Yeah, one of the worst video game levels ever conceived.
Yeah. Which is a shame, because otherwise, stellar game.
Stellar!
But
yeah, I finished Spider-Man last night. Really good game.
Really, honestly, obviously I wasn't on the last show. I got Spider-Man as well. I've finished it. I'm at 94%. I'm going to 100% it, hopefully, because I just love it.
But are you going to get the platinum?
I am getting the platinum. I'm 88% of trophies, I think.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
I don't know. I know I've talked about this before, but I fall into this trap of as soon as the credits roll, my brain disengages from the game. And I'm like, well, done with that.
I'm usually the same, but I like games where they kind of continue on as well. So Spider-Man just gives you access to everything, like just open world when you're finished. So, yeah, which is just really good. And there's a lot to do in it. There's a lot of side quests. I mean, not all of them are brilliant. To be honest, I would say the Arkham games had stronger side quests, but they're still fun.
But worse combat.
I'm inclined to agree with you, actually.
The combat in this game is just stellar.
It's just so smooth, and like the way a Spider-Man moves is just exactly how Spider-Man should move. It's just really cool. Did you see the Insomniacs put an Easter egg in? Did you get the ability where you can do moves in midair, like different tricks?
Yeah.
So there's one called, if you do 4 in a row, it's called the Spidey McMarks, which is a reference to Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There was a move in the hoverboard races called the Twisty McMarks.
Oh.
And there's it's filled with Easter eggs, this game. I was watching a thing the other day, and apparently if you go near a pizza restaurant, very, very faintly, you can hear the terrible pizza music from Spider-Man 2, where you used to have to deliver pizzas to people, and it goes something like that, and it's absolutely terrible. But what a love letter to Spider-Man in general. There's been a lot of Spider-Man games, Eric, over the years.
And most of them have been fair to Midland. That kind of just leaves it at that. Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 is fantastic, but...
Yeah, they've all been all right, but this one completely nails it. I mean, I think where it nails it is it strikes a balance between Spider-Man and Peter Parker in the two, how their lives actually intertwine. And it's just so good.
It is kind of fun to jump between the two characters, and you just... it gives you a break from each of them.
Yeah, I love those little episodes where you would think not being Spider-Man would be quite boring, but it's actually really fleshed out the world more, and it was really interesting.
I think the reason that I'm not going to finish it is because I'm not going to 100% it, because I leave for Minnesota on Thursday. I'll be gone over the weekend, and then the day after I come back, Mega Man comes out.
Oh,
I am going for that day, week, maybe forever after. I will be insufferable.
Yes, you will. I think I might delete you off WhatsApp. Have I told you about Mega Man?
Guys, get this game. It's got a guy in it who's blue.
It's really innovative. You get 8 levels and you have to beat all the bosses.
But
in
you
the
can
right
do
order.
it in different order.
If you do it in the wrong order, it's going to be real hard.
Why are you German?
That's what you sound like.
No, I don't. Sound like a red-blooded American.
I told you about Mega Man.
I'm really excited for it, because the jump ahead to the end of the show here, we're going to do a Mega Man game for next show.
But we haven't
spoilers
decided
for
which.
the end of this show.
So I downloaded the demo for Switch.
And what'd you think?
I don't know. I can't get away with Mega Man. I hate to disappoint you, but
Play it on PS4. It's better. You can't play... the Mega Man games just don't work on Switch in handheld mode.
I thought the controls were fine.
Well, the controls are fine. It's just the way you have to be really aggressive with shooting. You have to shake the entire console, and it just doesn't work.
I know it's integral to the Mega Man experience, and it's kind of a heathen thing to say this, but I don't like how you can't shoot up in directions.
That's where you charge your blaster and jump up and shoot.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like it.
Well,
it's
too bad.
It's just like Gunstar Heroes, where you can shoot in all directions, is just cool.
Yeah, well, they designed the game.
I understand it's part of Mega Man, but
yeah. Maybe he had a bad accident where his arms broke, like John McCain, and he can't lift his arms straight up.
Mega Man, use the crippled arm power up.
At least he's still out there fighting instead of leeching off the system.
Yeah, he's trying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really like the art style either of the new one.
Oh, see, that's the thing that really draws me in, is it's got that just incredible cel-shaded style to it. Everything is so animated and just full of life.
See, I would like it to go back to the kind of 2D pixel era kind of.
But they did that with 9 and 10.
I don't know Mega Man. There's nobody who tells me about it.
Oh, God, we got to find someone to talk to you a little bit more about Mega Man.
I know, I've only been you someone.
Yeah. But 9 and 10 were released
some numpty who lives in a house full of scorpions somewhere.
And Black Widows.
Oh, God. What? You didn't mention that.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, God.
We've got Black Widows. We got Scorpions. There may be the stray tarantula. And
Hello, Michael. Michael, cancel my tickets.
I don't care that we're losing the money. Cancel it.
Michael, I can't hear you. Are you in your car again?
Yeah, Mega Man 9 and 10 came out for PS3, Xbox 360, and they were kind of a love letter back to the original Mega Man 2, where they did the 2D sprite style and just impossibly difficult levels.
So how many Mega Man games actually has there been?
There was
Because
8, and then
realistically, Eric, they're all the same game.
they are not the same game.
They are. You get 8 bosses, right, on every one.
Okay.
You have to get the power-ups. You have to beat all the bosses.
Okay.
And that's basically it. So
Okay.
why does Mega Man kind of get a free pass for not innovating where other
He
games...
innovates. In
No, he
3, you
doesn't.
could charge your shot. In 4, you could slide. And then in X, you could upgrade your stuff.
Wow.
Dude, there have been dozens, if not hundreds, of Mega Man games. Because you got to count in the Zero series, the ZX. There's the Star Force. Then you've got all the spin-offs with Battle Network and the EXE games, Network Transmission. But like, if you're just talking
I like...
core games, you've got Mega Man 1 through 11 and then X through X8. Those are the core canon games.
See, I really liked... We played Mega Man X, and I really liked that one. That was pretty good.
Tell you what, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but Mega Man Powered Up for the PSP is one of the finest Mega Man experiences.
Well, you can tell us all about it next time when we play a Mega Man.
I want to talk about it now.
You can't. You'll end up talking for the entire episode about Mega Man. That's not what we're doing this week.
We're not?
No.
Oh. Hold on. Before we get into that was a beautiful build-up for a segue.
It was, but you've just shot it down in flames.
I did, because that's what I do.
You flushed it down Zach Foley's toilet.
My name is... Just call me Old Piss Eyes. Telltale News.
Oh, yeah. I saw this. Have they actually gone?
They are basically shut down. So the
how
company
has this
behind
happened?
the Walking Dead games, they kind of defined a genre of video games.
Yeah, they did. And I thought they were doing really well.
Apparently, citing poor sales, they are canning the studio halfway through season 4.
I'm so surprised.
You know, that genre was really cool. Season 1 and season 2 were really well done, and then you came in with The Wolf Among Us. But they just started to milk it, and they suddenly...
Oh, yeah, they were churning things out really quickly.
Yeah, it's just everything. They got Game of Thrones, and then Borderlands went that way, and then
Oh, my God,
Minecraft.
I forgot about the Game of Thrones one. Batman as well.
Yeah, the Batman one. And it's just like, okay, this is a bit much. I really liked how they did the original couple of seasons of Walking Dead because it was so new. It's like, hey, we're going to release this episodically. You got to wait a month or two between episodes.
See, I played them back to back when they were finished, so I didn't get that experience. But for me, I really enjoyed the first series of The Walking Dead, and I've really, really enjoyed it because I never played anything like it. But when it got round to the second one, I just didn't like it anymore. It was just, I feel like Telltale's engine is infamous for being really creaky and a bit naff.
Yeah.
So I just think it was just showing its age by that point, and it was just...
It's just
I don't know, it just didn't hook me as much. I think we'd had a lot of more experiences in games where it was more, still very story-driven, but with a lot more gameplay to it, and I think that's kind of where it started to die off a bit.
It was a neat game to have one or two like that, but then you're just like, okay, I guess I'm done with this. Wolf Among Us was infinitely better.
I haven't played that.
Oh man, you got to play Wolf Among Us.
I played Batman, and I really enjoyed Batman.
Well, you like Batman?
Yes, let me tell you all about Batman.
Let me tell you about the Winged Man.
Apparently Batman's knob was in a comic this week.
Okay.
I saw it on IGN, and I was like, okay.
Dan's like, clear out that other folder. I'm just putting this picture in there.
And
this one for later.
private browsing.
Engage incognito mode. Clear history.
I'm using it to browse for gifts for my partner. Oh! bullshit. Nobody's ever done that ever.
Never.
Yeah, but it's always sad to see a game studio go, but like you say, were they innovative enough?
I think they were, but I think they were a one-trick pony.
Yeah. I think people have moved on.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard when The Walking Dead first came out, it was everywhere. You couldn't hear, you heard about it all the time. Series 2 and 3, couldn't even tell you when they came out.
2 was really popular because people were like, hey, we need to see where this goes. And then when third one came out, I think the third one was with Michonne, or was that a spin-off?
That was a spin-off.
Okay, yeah, I had zero interest in that because just as a character through the comics and the TV series, I'm like, I don't really care for her.
I think people's interest in The Walking Dead is waning a bit anyway. Now, obviously, you get the diehard fans. I mean, I've watched every series of the TV show, but even I'm starting to regret this.
Well, now you're so far pot committed that you just got to continue through.
I didn't see the end of the last series, and I really don't care, so... It's just they have one really good episode, and then it just plods along for the rest of the series, and that's it.
Let's milk this. We did a good job.
I mean, half of the main characters are leaving the next series, so...
Are they just going to shoot them all?
Probably. Fuck this shit.
So, Dan.
Hello.
Let's go back to your previous segue.
I can't even remember what it was.
You said
that is not our game for this week.
You said we can't talk about Mega Man because that's not our game this week.
We can't talk about Mega Man because that is not our game for this week, Eric.
What did we play this week, Dan?
Well, we have played Ultimate Doom.
Did you shit your pants?
Yes. Oh, that hurt my throat.
You need to take a break?
Just have a little drink of your water there.
Yes.
Fill the dead air, Mr. Pearson. Thank you.
Yeah, we played Doom, loosely played Doom a long time ago, after one of our longer hiatuses.
Ooh.
Haiku?
The new say it. Hi too.
Now with karate chopping action.
I don't know why everything's say it.
Yeah, so we decided to revisit it because you and I both recently have been playing through the modern Doom.
We have.
I have not finished it yet, have you?
No, not quite.
Yeah.
But
I picked it up again last night and got to a part. I'm like, well, this is hard.
Yeah, I think that's why I stopped. I got to a bit which was really difficult.
I have no ammo, and I keep respawning at a spot with no ammo. I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to just plod through this and hope to get lucky.
I think you should. It's a good time. It's fun.
Is. So we decided to revisit the original Doom. The original plan was for each of us to play it on a different console, but Doom is notoriously difficult to emulate despite the fact that it can run on literally anything with a screen.
Even a calculator.
Yeah, and the MacBook Air Touch Bar.
Wow. It's yeah, so we originally decided I looked through the list of ports of Doom and I went, Game Boy Advance. Let's see how that is. Oh my god, you can't even see what you're doing. And I'll just say for the record, I didn't have the aspect ratio stretched. Everything was fine. You just literally can't see anything.
I tried playing the Super Nintendo version because I actually have the cartridge on it.
Yeah.
Really slow frame rate, and not having traditional first-person controls makes it really hard to go back to those old shooters.
Yeah, I tried as well to play it on the PlayStation, and I couldn't get it to emulate because it has a weird fix so it doesn't work with certain plugins and things like that. So it's just so difficult to get it to work. I mean, I was all geared up to start playing it on, I think, Wednesday when we finally decided what we were playing for this week, and I just spent all night trying to get a version of Doom to work.
I was going to go for the Atari Jaguar version of it, but I couldn't find an actual functioning Atari Jaguar emulator. The only one that I found was from some Russian website. Like, given the current political circumstance, I'm not going to take this risk.
Good idea.
Yes.
But in the end, what we had to do basically is buy it on GOG and play it through the computer.
So we purchased this game. We've decided to go with Ultimate Doom because it includes the original with another episode tacked onto the tail end of it.
So when was that released?
Ultimate Doom?
Yeah.
Let me see if I've got that pulled up here. Let's see. There was Final Doom. I don't know. That's a good question because the original Doom was released in 93, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Wow, a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, the Ultimate Doom retail version adds that fourth episode, Thy Flesh Consumed. Doesn't say when it was. I'm trying to find that. I don't want to just keep saying, Duh.
So, Eric, here's the question. Have you played Doom before?
Oh, yeah, I grew up playing Doom.
Really? See,
yeah.
I've never played the original.
Is this your first time playing it?
This is my first time playing the original Doom.
Ooh. Ultimate Doom came out in 95.
Oh, okay. I thought it was quite recent.
So when I was a kid, my dad was in college for computer science. So we had, a bunch of really high-end computers and stuff that he was just into. So I got to explore gaming that way. And when the original Doom came out, it was kind of shared shareware where people would just, kind of before the internet, they'd just pass it around. And id Software encouraged that to get their game out there. And my dad came home with a shareware version of this and loaded it on the computer. And God, we just played it for hours. And every day we just sat down and played Doom and just roared at how violent it was. I just have such fond memories.
For the time, it is very violent.
Oh, I just have such fond memories of my dad like luring different Marines or enemies near those exploding barrels and shooting the barrel and watching their guts go everywhere and him just laughing.
That's great. So, obviously, you've got the nostalgia factor here.
I do.
And I don't.
It's held up surprisingly well. It's a very basic style of shooter that has defined a genre. Wolfenstein really kind of laid the groundation for here's what a first-person shooter can be, but Doom, when they developed this engine, said...
What's a groundation?
Foundation. I didn't say groundation.
You said groundation.
Maybe I was thinking groundwork and foundation and just pushed them together. I'm gonna have
lay those groundations.
I'm going to have to rewind the tape on that one.
Brilliant.
But yeah, so they were done with Wolfenstein 3D, and they wanted to move on to their next project. And John Carmack was working on a new 3D engine, and started floating some ideas back and forth, and they were going to go with there was another series that they did that was like more kid friendly or family friendly. God, I can't think of the name of it. It's like I'll look it up here in a second. But they had this idea for Doom that initially got shot down because they wanted to do this big sprawling space opera style thing with this huge in-depth story, but that didn't lend itself well enough to the fast-paced action of this engine. So they went, no, we're going to scrap it, and we're just going to make a hyper-violent game. And the story can be there in the background, even if you care about it. So that's sort of how Doom came to be, was they were just creating a test game for this brand new engine and looking for their next direction as a software company, and what do we want to make?
It's a good job they did.
Oh, yeah.
It's still going strong to this day.
Let's see.
Commander Keen.
That's what it is. They wanted, because they'd already done a bunch of games in that series. They're like, let's go with another one of these. And they didn't want to do another Castle Wolfenstein because they'd just come off of that. And
yeah,
there was definitely a bunch of tension and people that didn't necessarily agree. And I found it was interesting. I found the original working title for Doom was called Green and Pissed. It doesn't really have a good title to it.
Not really, no. ID Software, though, has done really well over the years.
Oh, yeah.
With their IPs, considering how many of them are still going now. So we've got Quake, Doom, and Wolfenstein. The new Wolfenstein games are absolutely spectacular. They were some of the best FPSs I've played. Have you dabbled?
Oh, Castle Wolfenstein. I didn't play the originals on PC, but Return to Castle Wolfenstein on Xbox was phenomenal.
I'm on about Wolfenstein New Colossus and stuff for the PS4.
I played the first of the reboot. I didn't play all the way through it, though.
I've never played Rage, but the
Rage
sequel
was
looks pretty good.
It was neat to see, but hold on, I'm looking for a specific quote here to see if you knew this. But keep going. Continue with your thoughts.
I don't have any. No, but to come into this blind, obviously I know what it's about. I've played games like it. I've played through Wolfenstein because it's included on the Wolfenstein PS4 version, so I played through that. And I kind of understand how it works and things like that. But coming in blind, I didn't really know a whole lot about it. Well, I've just contradicted myself there. I knew what it was about. So I knew what it was about, sorry, but I didn't. I've never experienced it, is what I meant. And it was, honestly, I've actually quite enjoyed it. I mean, it's basic. Everything's a bit samey, but it's fun.
Yeah, you can see where modern FPS games have drawn inspiration from Doom in terms of level design and how you progress through it, and enemy placement and combat style.
So I don't know if originally did it have mouse controls originally.
I don't remember. I always remember using keyboard.
I think it's keyboard only. So what I've done is because I've got a laptop, I played it keyboard only, and it worked quite well.
See, I switched my controls to be mouse, and then I remapped the forward and backward to W and S, and strafing to A and D. And then the mouse would look sideways, but one thing you couldn't change is that if you pushed the mouse forward, it would still consider walking forward. So you had to be really careful when you're looking left and right, that if you're by a cliff, you don't accidentally pull it backwards and walk yourself off the ledge.
Yeah, that sounds... But I was using arrow keys, Control Shoot, and Alt for strafe, which I've also just discovered if you press Control Alt up, down, left or right, it rotates your screen. So I was in the middle of fighting demons and my screen would turn upside down. I was like, no.
See, I don't think that macro existed back in the 90s.
It certainly does now. Happened so many times, particularly towards the end of the third episode, which is so Doom. The original Doom is split into 3 episodes, which can be played in any order. Could you always play them in any order, or did they go back to back?
Man, you are asking me questions I just don't remember.
Well, you should.
I don't remember.
But yeah, so you have these 3 episodes. The first one takes place on Phobos? Where is Phobos? Mars?
No, Phobos is a planet. Or like a moon, isn't it? Yeah, Phobos is the innermost and largest of the natural satellites of Mars.
Okay, so
it's a moon.
Still sort of Mars.
No. That's like saying the moon is part of Earth.
It is.
It's not. It's the moon.
It shares our space.
Okay.
So then the second place is Deimos. Is that another moon?
Yes.
And then you actually go to Hell.
Deimos.
Now, what surprised me the most about Hell is how much it looks like corridors.
Yeah, there's a lot of hallways in Hell.
There is.
It's like a big office complex.
with occasional flames and random eyes, and sometimes boxes.
That's where the game really started to get fun. I like the first couple episodes because it kind of lays the groundwork. You're in this installation, and you start off with just a pistol, and there are these other possessed Marines that you're killing, and then very quickly you get the shotgun. And this shotgun is one of my favorite FPS guns of all time. It's being
excellent.
Even for being a gun in the 90s, it has weight behind it, and it just feels satisfying to shoot, and it hits and explodes things.
It's like a sniper rifle, though, as well, because you can just shoot people from miles away with a shotgun.
Well, what's really interesting about Doom is that you can't look up and down, so they could have taken the easy way out and been like, well, everything's going to be on the same level, and that would have really kind of made the game kind of shit. So what they've done is that if there's enemies up above you and you're aiming towards them, you'll automatically fire up towards them.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's accurate. Once you get in the swing of things, of how it works and things like that, I struggled originally and I died a few times, but then once you get into the swing of it, you have to be a bit cautious, because you could run into a room where you get mobbed by about 4 demons at once, and then next thing you know, you're dead.
It's pretty unforgiving.
It is unforgiving. Like, some of the demons do a lot of damage.
Well, and the enemy placement, too, is really unique, because sometimes you'll walk into a room that looks empty, and as soon as you walk in, these doors behind you or to the sides of where you came in will drop down and a bunch of enemies will fly out.
Yeah, I found that a bit cheap.
I don't know, I liked it. Or you'd be walking through a corridor and there'd be a little tucked off hallway where there'd be an enemy sitting.
Yeah.
But the sound design in this game is just fantastic, because all the enemies have their own unique sound profile. Like I don't know all the names of the enemies from Doom, but the brown chocolate poopy looking guys that shoot flowers at you.
That's the exact name. Well done.
Chocolate poopy guys. They kind of have this clicking sound like the enemies from The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean.
And you can hear them off in the distance, and as you get closer, it gets louder. And it's a really unnerving game. I remember being terrified of this game as a kid. We'd sit in the basement and have the lights off and be just playing Doom with the volume cranked. And such good memories.
So was it kind of meant to be a horror game originally? I guess science fiction horror themed video game.
Yeah.
So it's not I mean, Doom 3 went full horror.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that wasn't what it was about. I played Doom 3 and I cacked my pants. I'm not going to lie.
I'm pretty sure you crap your pants when you turn the light off to go to bed at night.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
I have an issue.
Ah!
But, yeah, Doom 3 was a stark departure from what came before it, I think. And it was, I enjoy the modern Doom a lot more than I did Doom 3. Because modern Doom takes what was developed in this original Doom and takes it into this era. So you've got fast-paced combat.
So this might actually kind of explain why Doom 3 was the way it was. When they were developing the game, the main thematic influences came from Aliens and Evil Dead 2.
Right.
So when they went to Doom 3, they're like, great, let's really take this down the alien realm. And if you think about that, that game was very similar to what you see in like a modern Aliens Colonial Marines or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, very corridor-based and very dark, and things will pop out at you. It really relied heavily on jump scares. But for being a futuristic society with this highly trained space marine who couldn't figure out how to tape a flashlight to a gun.
That was my big issue with that game.
Like, I gotta walk around and shine things, and an enemy! Let me turn my light off and put it in my pocket, pull my gun out.
Because in that one, he was just a marine, wasn't he? Just a normal marine. But in the reboot, he is kind of a legendary warrior.
He's kind of like Master Chief.
Yes, but
'Cause there's a
more
scene
kind
in
of
the new
from
one.
hell and stuff.
There's a scene in the new one where, you showed me for the next one coming out. You're walking through this corporate facility and everybody's looking at you with awe. Like, there he is.
Have you seen on the trip? Did you see the bit where he just grabs the guy's key card from out his neck and just drags him over to it?
I like that.
I just love it. There's one thing, because on the map screens when they're loading on the new Doom, it says like daft things and things, and one of them said, somebody's offered you help, you don't need it, all you need is ammo. I was like, yeah, pretty accurate.
Yeah. Level design was influenced from, of all games, Pac-Man.
Really?
With its maze-like structure and level design. Which is, that's always kind of been my, I don't want to call it a gripe, but the one piece that hasn't really held up well is how you progress through the levels. There's really, there arguably is no story here outside of, you're on Mars, these aliens are here, or these demons are here, go kill them. To get to the end of the level, you have to just find a door, but to get to that door, there's puzzles you have to solve by getting a blue key card or a yellow or a red, and then progress through that door, and you do a ton of backtracking and bouncing back and forth between rooms, and you can pull up a map, but the map doesn't show you where particular door colors are, so you just kind of have to remember things. And it is great because it adds longevity to the game and forces you to kind of treat this as a giant puzzle. But within each level, there's tons of secrets.
Yeah, there is. Loads.
You can walk around the wall and just press the action button, and occasionally a door will open up, and you can just go to a whole other hidden level of the game.
Yeah, there is secret levels as well, isn't there, in each campaign?
Yes.
I didn't get to one, but I know they're there. But the secrets are quite hard to find because it gives you, when you finish each level, it gives you a tally of how many you found. And
I like that.
Did you see there was a thing on it where it said like par, and it was like a minute to finish a level?
Yeah, that's wild.
I know. It took me about 15 minutes for most levels.
15?
Yeah.
Good God.
Got to be cautious with the keyboard.
No way, man. I was averaging 3 to 8 minutes.
Oh.
Once I got,
I think it was one of the more complicated levels in the hell section, which is kind of maze-like, and I got lost.
Well, Knee Deep in the Dead is pretty straightforward. It's not too terribly difficult. As soon as you jump into the shores of hell, they start incorporating teleportation devices and physical rooms that can kill you based on how you walk through it. So the environments become more dangerous. So, Knee Deep in the Dead is almost your tutorial section of it. And then once you get to Inferno, it gets even more difficult, and Thy Flesh Consumed is just fantastic all around.
What's interesting about it is there's not really that many different enemy types.
No.
Which I'm sure is probably just a limitation of the time and the development cycle. So you will see a lot of the same enemies, but at the same time, even though there's not that many enemies, it's pretty good because you get used to how to fight those enemies and you can plan your attacks in advance. I mean, there were some times, Eric, I thought this game was brutally hard and unfair. Like,
oh, yeah.
There is times where they'll just throw about 20 demons at you and you've just got to keep blasting with your shotgun and hope for the best. And
but that shotgun's got such a sweet, sweet spread.
It was a very satisfying. I played through, I would say, 90% of this game using the shotgun. So, I mean, there's other weapons as well. So you get the handgun, the shotgun, the chain gun.
Yep.
Is that the rocket launcher?
Yep.
There's a chainsaw, and there's a plasma rifle, and a BFG 9000.
God, that BFG is so much fun.
It is so much fun.
I don't get enough
use
ammo
it at
for
all
it.
until the end.
Yeah, you just don't get enough ammo.
I figured this would be the case, so I kept it for the last boss.
Yeah. The bosses are largely underwhelming.
I didn't think the first ones were bosses. I wasn't expecting it to end there.
So that's one thing that's really weird about the Knee Deep in Hell episode is that you come into the level and there's just these two, what are they, minotaurs?
Hell Knights, I think they're called.
Yeah, guys with horse feet and demon heads and all of that. And they're not super difficult, but you're on this pentagram that if you fall off, you go into the lava and die. But when you kill them, the level then rises up and you see a staircase and you go down into the staircase and then you're instantly greeted with dozens of possessed Marines. And for me, as soon as I started firing, it went, done.
I didn't even shoot. It just killed me instantly.
It killed you?
Yeah.
Oh, mine just went to black and took me to the next chapter.
Oh, I thought you meant to die.
Well, if you die, how do you...
I don't know. This is what made no sense to me.
Well, yeah, then you're reading the next... I guess that does make a little sense because you're reading the text between it and it does kind of give off the impression that you've died.
Then I suppose because you're on the shores of hell, you're in limbo or some shit. Maybe.
Maybe. I tell you, the one enemy that I didn't like was the... I think they're called the Cacodemons.
Yes,
the big floating heads.
Orb things. Yeah, they're very annoying.
But this is where the strafe really starts to come in handy, though, is you can sidestep that stuff so easily.
Yes, if you're not rotating your screen. So use it sparingly.
So you couldn't strafe and shoot at the same time.
I could, but I just had to make sure I wasn't pressing an arrow.
Oh my God.
So it would be a case of pressing Alt, then pressing right, then shooting, making sure that you've released Alt, otherwise your screen would go right.
Jeez.
Why would you ever want to do that? Like, what purpose does that serve?
Well, I've got a monitor.
I want to look at my laptop screen upside down today.
I've got a monitor in my triple setup right now where one is vertical. So I had to use that to rotate that screen.
Vertical?
Yeah, I put my email in there so I can see a longer list of email. Coders will do it. So it'll look like a standing rectangle instead of a laying down rectangle.
Weirdos.
Just turn your laptop sideways and work on it that way.
I don't want to.
No.
This is stupid.
What's
so,
next?
I was going to mention those Hell Knights at the end of the first episode they were brutal, them. They killed me straight away.
Then they become a standard enemy throughout a few different levels later in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, they take off about a quarter of your health if they hit you.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Well, there's just tons of collectibles to pick up in this. You have little blue potions and skulls that will add armor bonuses and health packs, and there's ammo everywhere.
And then there's special items, so there's a one which gives you the full map.
Yep.
And there's some spectacles which lighten up darkened rooms.
I love Berserk mode, though.
I say I didn't think it was very useful in this one. I always found it when I'd killed everything.
Oh, man. So Berserk, you pick that up, and then your guy gets like a set of brass knuckles with spikes on them, and you run up and punch things, and they just turn into a liquid mess of gore.
It's more satisfying even in the new one.
Oh, the new one's
excellent.
Fun. Go and rip somebody's head apart and then kick him in the crotch.
It's so good. There's what else is there? There's the lab coats, which give you immunity against radiation. So you can run across like pools of blood or pools of gunk and things. Usually you find secrets, actually.
Oh,
and
yeah.
What else? There's a partial invisibility orb.
Oh, you'd have to fight those invisible giant monsters, too. Those things piss me off.
Oh, pinkies. They're called pinkies, those.
Pinkies? I don't see them in the Doom list.
Yeah, they're called pinkies.
I don't know if that's right.
It is. It was in the reboot. I remember reading it.
So
they're nicknamed pinkies.
The monsters you were talking about were not Hell Knights. They were called Barons of Hell.
Ah, right. Close enough.
I don't think they're called pinkies, Dan.
They are.
They're not. Let me see. I'm going to find... because I'm
Pinky
looking...
Doom 2016.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the original Doom. That's the game.
We were, but they look the same, so...
I can't find them in this list.
They didn't exist. We dreamt it.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. They're just called demons.
Wow.
They're just called demon.
Wow.
Yeah. Real original, guys.
Good effort, guys.
Yeah.
Wow. That is terrible. So what else is there to it?
So, development-wise, do you know where the game got its name?
Because it's in hell and Doom sounds cool.
No. It came from a Tom Cruise movie, The Color of Money.
What?
So Tom Cruise shows up at a pool hall with a custom pool cue, and somebody asks him, "What have you got in there?" And he goes, "What, here? Doom." Swear to God, that's where it's from.
Very good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so strange.
Yeah. So Tom
there was
Hall-
one more power-up, invulnerability, I've just remembered.
Oh.
And it turns the screen white and you can't see anything.
So one of the designers, Tom Hall, during development created this document called the Doom Bible, which was supposed to have this intricate storyline and backline for your character and a bunch of interactive things that you could do. Is going to be a part of the game. And they all decided, you know what? No, we just need a simpler design because that's going to overwhelm people. We just want something that's going to be basic and fun, and they forced him to redesign everything. And then I think he was one of the guys that eventually got fired and then replaced with somebody else because, his attitude or something like that. He was getting pretty pissed off about his contributions not being taken seriously and didn't have an effective role within the game development cycle. So,
Okay.
yeah. Let's see.
It's not really. While it's one of these legendary games, there's not really a whole lot to it.
No, it's just run down the hallway, shoot the shit out of everything. But it's one of those games that still lives on to this day. I mean, people are porting it to absolutely everything. People are still modding it. I was looking into this too. Have you seen a mod called Brutal Doom?
No.
Oh.
Brutal Doom.
So you have to download an open source version like Z Doom or GZ Doom, and then add the Brutal mod to it. And people have gone through and they've, aside from updating textures and everything, they have rewritten all of the death animations so that when you kill people, there's just guts that fly everywhere and just splatter the walls. And the enemies will sit and twitch before they fall down to the ground and just start pooling blood out. There's a quick little clip I watched of it, and the guy walks down a hallway and kills just 3 people. Just kills 3 demons, and it looks like an absolute massacre happened in the hallway.
That's excellent. This game actually very much encouraged mods, though, didn't it? It was kind of Wolfenstein. People figured out how to mod it, and then ID went, okay, for Doom, you can just do what you want with it. And
yeah, there was a huge
mods.
community of people that would develop new levels for it and share all that around. But
really interesting, that.
I think what's really cool that id Software did was when Ultimate Doom came out, it was a retail release. But anybody who already had the original Doom got a patch for it for free. Just to upgrade to it and give them the free episode.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So I finished the core Doom, so the first 3 episodes, but I didn't get time to finish the additional episode.
Did you dabble in it at all?
No, I didn't even get time. I literally finished about half an hour before we started the show. So, but
I did
honestly
not finish.
Coming in blind, not playing it before, I actually had a lot of fun.
It's just one of those really good pop this in and just kind of lose yourself type games. There's not a whole lot of thinking to it.
I think the shotgun is just very satisfying. I think that's what.
Well, and even in the modern Doom game, that shotgun is so much fun.
It is, yes.
I
used the shotgun actually mainly in the modern Doom, to be honest.
I drift towards shotguns in most games because I just like that punch that they have.
Yeah, it's good sometimes to get up close and personal.
So how many systems has Doom appeared on? Let's see.
Got a lot. I did just see this before, and I can't. Expansions and port. The popularity
there's so
of Doom.
many.
So, versions of Doom have subsequently been released for DOS, OS/2, Microsoft Windows, Linux, Amiga, Apple Macintosh, Super NES, Genesis 32X, PlayStation, Game Boy Advance, iOS, Symbian OS, RISC OS, Atari Jaguar, Sega Saturn, Tapwave Zodiac, 3DO, Xbox, and Xbox 360.
Don't forget iPhone and iPod Touch.
Oh my god, really?
Then there are some more obscure personal computer versions. The Next Step, the Solaris, and the Acorn RISC OS.
Oh my god.
The game is literally on everything.
Yet we struggled to play it.
Yeah. We had to actually
How
buy
strange
this
is
one.
that?
They
How
should have put it
strange
on
is
the
that?
Virtual Boy.
Somebody could probably port it to it. Zach Fawley's just got one. Get him on it.
Hell yeah. Get it?
Get it!
I definitely want to finish the modern Doom. It's so neat, like some of the throwbacks that they've tossed in there. For you probably didn't really have much of that nostalgic factor of finding the different colored key cards. You're like, here we go. I just got to open this door.
No, but that used to be a trope for FPSs back in the day in general, so it did remind me of nostalgia for old FPSs.
But for me, this was definitive. Like, those color key cards just always stick out with me when I think of Doom. Aside from the shooting the enemies, it's always, I need this color key card to get through this door. And you'll find the green one here, or the blue one here, and go through that door to get the red one. And
Reminded me of Time Splitters. Time Splitters used to do similar things.
God, we need to play a Time Splitters game.
We really do. I wish they would do a new one.
I thought we heard rumblings of somebody getting the IP now.
Yes, they have. I can't remember who it was.
Let's see. Koch Media?
Koch Media.
Koch. Time Splitters has a new owner and plans are afoot. Did you see
they
the
bought
concept?
loads of IPs.
Who is the original owner of it?
Free Radical, I think.
That's right. Did you see the concept art for Time Splitters 4 that surfaced after Free Radical went under? God, it looked so good.
Future Perfect, the third one, was my favorite in the series. I thought it was so good.
And then they had the level editor. I remember going through and making different levels that looked like the levels from Halo 2.
I played that level editor. Me and my friend were playing at the same time, and I used to only see him about once a week because he lived quite far away. But I would make a level for him to play on that weekend, and I just have very fond memories of doing that. I made them really complicated, like harkening back to that thing you said with the key cards, Eric. There was one where I put a key card in a corner of a room, but I changed the lighting to make it really dark so he couldn't see it.
Jerk.
And he spent about half an hour looking for this key card, and he finally found it, actually. And I was like, that's impressive work.
See, I never made single-player levels. I always did the multiplayer stuff.
I did really complex single-player levels.
Oh, well, look at you, Daniel.
They're probably still on my old Xbox, to be honest.
I don't think I have my Future Perfect anymore, but I spent so much time with Time Splitters 2 multiplayer with a buddy where you could put a bunch of bots in there. I was played as either the giant duck or the gingerbread man. I used
to swap between all the mad characters. There was hundreds, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah. And unlocking new of them constantly.
Remember the levels where you had to throw bricks through windows?
Yeah.
They were so difficult. It just had so much replayability, that game. It was so fun.
I really hope that they reboot that series, because if there's any series of FPS games that needs a reboot, it's that.
Definitely. I'm with you.
But it could also backfire, though, and be like, well, here's the new owner of the IP, and they shit the bed.
Yeah, they bought a few new IPs. They bought Kingdoms of Amalur. Did you ever play that?
Yeah, that game was fantastic.
I liked it, but I never got round to actually playing much of it.
Oh, it's so big. It is such a fantastically deep, long game. It's basically a single-player MMO on a console.
Yeah. Maybe that's where it lost me. I don't know.
I was just reading here, the statement from Koch Media said that on their staff, they have plenty of original Time Splitters fans who are passionate about creating the new product. So
excellent.
That'll be good.
I hope so.
Instead of a company that's like, oh, we own this now, we're just going to put out any old drivel and people will buy it.
Time Splitters Battle Royale.
Just light your studio on fire. Apparently the new Call of Duty Battle Royale is a ton of fun.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, actually. If there's anybody who can deliver on Battle Royale, it's COD.
I don't know. I'm gonna pick up Battlefield 5 when it rolls out.
I don't like Battlefield. I never got away with it.
Because it requires skill.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't. We played it together and we were terrible.
I know. It doesn't mean I have skill.
Ah.
There we are. Anything else on Doom?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah.
It's like I say, it's Doom. It is what it is. It's not a complex game. There's not a lot, we have no plot to talk about. So
if you grew up playing Doom and haven't played the modern Doom, you owe it to yourself to do so, because it's an amazing love letter to the original game. Because the game we're playing now is how I imagined the original game when I was playing it.
Yeah, and if you've never played Doom at all, still get the modern Doom because it's so fun.
It's such a fast-paced shooter.
While other shooters have made us become more cautious and take our time and things like this, Doom actively rewards you for leaping into the action and just shooting the hell out of everything. It's just so fun. It's just so refreshing compared to everything else.
It really is.
Play it!
Dan.
What?
We have to talk about the PlayStation Classic.
Oh, boy. How'd you feel?
I got a little shivery there.
Ooh. I mean, it's got Final Fantasy VII on it.
Talk about something that came completely out of left field.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it was kind of inevitable. I mean, they've seen the success that Nintendo have had.
Yeah, but
there
was no rumor about this whatsoever. It just showed up.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, we're constantly having those rumors about the N64 one, aren't we?
Yeah.
And you always get those like patent leaks, don't you, of like the controllers and things like that. And I'm pretty sure nothing is because the controllers on it, the original PlayStation controllers without the analog, no, they're not the original DualShock.
No, because the DualShock didn't show up till halfway through the life cycle of the PlayStation. So I guess this is more genuinely classic.
Well, this is true, but did you know that there was actually an analog controller before the DualShock? It just wasn't massive. It had like kind of the concaved sticks like the PS4 has. I've only ever seen pictures of it, but I remember some of the older games, like in the instruction manuals, like with the instruction manuals, there'd be another little card like advertising it. I can't remember what it was called.
Here it is.
It was just called the analog controller, I think.
The dual analog controller, Sony's first handheld analog controller for the PlayStation and predecessor to the DualShock.
That's the one.
Yeah. That thing's hideous.
Yeah, I never really understood what it was until like the DualShock came out.
It looks like the really shiny nubs and all of that, but...
But I mean, with it being those original controllers, I mean, I could be remembering this wrong, but literally the only game on the PS1 that you had to have the analog sticks was Ape Escape. I think everything else, it was optional.
Yeah, they had the little button in the center you could turn analog on or off.
Yeah. So Ape Escape won't be on it, obviously, but
well, I still have my original PlayStation hooked up in my game room, and I use the original non-analog controller.
Really, I haven't held one of those for years. I can't remember what they feel like.
Oh, they feel great.
Because the original, it was longer. The actual handles were longer. I remember when I first got the DualShock, like they felt very like stubby.
Yeah, it's a comfortable controller even today, though. The only thing that takes a little getting used to is that the L1 and R1 and L1 and R1 are the same exact size button as L2 and R2.
Oh, they are, aren't they? Christ,
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's no differentiation. There's no like trigger aspect to it. It's just a big button. You know, like on the PS2, they were bigger so you could differentiate which one you were on.
Yeah.
And then 3, they obviously went to the triggers that sucked because as soon as you pulled the trigger, your finger would slip off of it.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really a trigger, was it? It was...
Yeah, it was a pseudo trigger, but...
A tiny slope.
Yes. So I don't know. Initially, I was kind of like, do we need another classic console? But the more I think about this, this is one that is genuinely more targeted towards me, and I'm actually far more excited about this than I was about the NES or the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, same. Well, I say same. The NES and SNES ones, because I never really grew up with Nintendo. I mean, I've said before I had a SNES, but I didn't really have that much for it. It was more the intrigue of some of the games on there that I'd never played, especially the NES as well. But I mean, the PlayStation to a degree is my childhood, really.
I would agree.
We had a Mega Drive, Mega Drive definitely, but then like moving on to the PlayStation.
Well, and I think that's the thing with you and I are pretty much the exact same age, and the NES was like really early childhood. I have functional memories of sitting down and playing the NES, but it wasn't during my formative years. The Super Nintendo, yeah, but I couldn't really buy games myself at that point. And then as soon as the PlayStation hit, like I was a teenager, I was late middle school, and just that is when gaming really started to impact me. So I think looking at it objectively, like this one is far more impactful for me than the other two.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it was the same thing for me. It was a big part of me getting into gaming because, I mean, I've said on this show before, and not proud of it. I had a chipped PlayStation, and
Sinner.
Yeah, I know. And I had a mate who used to copy games for me for like £2 a time, and he had lists and lists and lists of games. And if it wasn't for me having a chipped PlayStation, I probably wouldn't have played as many games as I did when I was younger. But yeah, that was the forefront of where I really started trying new things and playing new things. And, things that I'd never played before. I mean, Final Fantasy VII was my first RPG, as it was for a lot of people. And I got into playing that kind of thing. And then when this whole cinematic, games became more cinematic from the PlayStation onwards. Metal Gear Solid, prime example.
We started to see more narrative enter video games. Not saying that RPGs from previous generations weren't narrative, but like an adventure game was just an adventure game. A platforming game was just a platforming game. Now you could see those genres expand out. We saw the advent of horror titles, and the adventure game as a whole started to expand. And then we added music stuff within there with the upgraded audio chipset on the PlayStation. It's just gaming exploded at that point, and that's when, for me, it started to become more personal, and I could relate to certain things, and they started to have more of an impact on me. Whereas NES and Super Nintendo were like, yay, I'm going to go to a friend's house and just piss away the afternoon playing video games.
Yeah. There's 5 titles announced already. So Tekken 3, Final Fantasy 7,
Jumping Flash.
Which I'm not familiar with.
Ridge Racer Type 4.
Which I didn't play that one. I played the original and Rage Racer. And I think I played Ridge Racer 3, but I can't remember.
And
what's the 5th one?
Wild Arms.
Which I know the name, but I've never played it.
It's a good RPG. I think this is where it's going to kind of get a little muddy, and you're not going to be able to please everybody because the PlayStation is such a defining console with such a wide spread of fantastic games that to narrow it down to arguably the 20 best, you're going to have a lot of pissed off people.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to a lot of licensing as well. I mean, a lot of the NES and SNES ones were Nintendo's own products, weren't they? If you look at the catalogs on the catalog of games on the SNES Classic and NES Classic, I mean, there are things like Castlevania and stuff, but a lot of it's, like Mario RPG, Super Mario World, Donkey Kong.
Even aside from just the IPs themselves, the PlayStation ushered in an era of licensed music within gaming. So I think that immediately axes some of the games like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater because they have actual licensed tracks, and how are they going to get around that?
Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame because Pro Skater 2 absolutely should be on there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's probably not going to be like you said, and it's going to be a shame, an absolute shame. But I've already mentioned I must have it. If this doesn't have Metal Gear Solid on,
that's a swing and a miss if they don't have MGS and Resident Evil 2. Those absolutely have to.
1.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if they'll do Resident Evil 2 because with the remake of 2 coming out the month after, do they really want to have redundancy?
Strange. But do you think a Tomb Raider will be on there? I reckon one or two will be on there.
I think probably 2. I think we would see Resident Evil 1 before Resident Evil 2, even though 2 is more defining. I would say they need to put Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. But that ushers in the other question, though, is how much memory is going to be on this thing? I can't imagine they're going to put more than 16, maybe 32 gigs max in there.
Yeah, well, I discussed with you the other day. Like, I had a quick look at the average size of PlayStation games, and I can't remember what I said, but didn't I say like the original Crash Bandicoot something like 40 meg, something like that? I think I said.
No, it's like 400 meg.
400, sorry.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yeah, well, not really.
You can put barely 10. No, 10 would be 4 gigs. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's once you start getting into the bigger games like the Final Fantasies and anything that's multiple discs is going to start edging up towards 1-2 gigs.
The thing that I will see, I think we'll see with this is you won't see multiple titles from the same, like sequels from the same game. So you won't see Tomb Raider 1 and 2. You won't see Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. Unlike on the SNES where like you got Mario Brothers, you got Mario 2, you got Mario 3. I don't think you'll see that. You'll see one from each.
Yeah.
Each
well, and
title.
I think that's where you're going to have
either Tomb Raider 1 or Tomb Raider 2.
That's where you have a division of people being happy. People are going to say, well, 8's better than 7 and 9's better than 8. And why should it have this title and not that one? And at the end of the day, you can't please everybody. But I think they're going to need to pull games from every genre within.
Here's the interesting thing, though. With the current remakes, do we get a Crash or a Spyro on there?
I don't think we're going to see either.
Because I would argue that you'd need a Crash Bandicoot on there.
I think at best we're going to get Crash 1. Because now that I think about it, Crash 1
would be better.
But Crash 1, that was kind of Sony's break into the market. Because when I think about the early days of PlayStation with me, it's immediately original Crash. They pushed. Yeah, I mean it wasn't my favorite, but Crash Bandicoot was their mascot for a long time. I don't know. I think at best we'll see it. I doubt we'll see a Spyro game. I'd be surprised if we saw a Spyro game.
Well, the remake's going to come before this comes out because this is slated for 3rd of December in the UK. Yep. I don't know about America.
I think they're the same.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting thing for you because I have pre-ordered one of these.
Yep.
I pre-ordered it on the thing of if I decide I want one nearer the time and haven't pre-ordered and can't get it, I'll be disappointed. If I pre-order it now, if I decide I don't want it, I can always cancel it. But me and Hazel were discussing, because my birthday's in November, we were discussing what I want for my birthday and stuff, and she said she's actually going to pay for this for me, so I'm definitely going to get one.
Ooh.
No, treating me. And,
fancy.
Oh, fancy, yes indeed. So I pre-ordered this, and when I pre-ordered it through the game website, it made me tick a box saying that I was over 18, because it was a over 18 product, like it does with 18 games. So is this a precaution, or are we getting an 18 game on there? Which leads me to my next question: are we going to get the original Grand Theft Auto?
Man,
because that'd be interesting.
I don't think they'd put the original GTA on there.
Why not?
It's not that good.
I haven't played it for years.
So I mean, I played the living hell out of that game when it first came out, but there's so many other better games that they can choose. Look at, I think Metal Gear Solid was mature rating, wasn't it?
I think it was a 15 over here. Don't quote me on that.
Any of the Resident Evils are mature rating, so if they're going to put it...
Yeah, they're 18s for sure.
If they're going to put those on there, you got to have that. So what other games do you actually predict or hope to see on there?
Not necessarily a hope, but I would imagine like Destruction Derby 2 could be on there.
Destruction Derby 2. That's a weird choice.
It was a very, very big early PlayStation game. At least it was here in the UK.
No, I played a ton of that growing up, but it's just one of those things that when I think PlayStation, I don't think Destruction Derby. But it's great for what it did, though. Like it had a lot of damage modeling to it that at the time was fantastic.
Along the same route, a game that I've not played, but I know was a massive title, was it Twisted Metal?
Yeah, I think we could see Twisted Metal.
And then on the racing game genre, one of the Gran Turismos?
Yeah, I think I was going to say Gran Turismo 2 would probably be, if they were to choose a racing game, the one that they need to go with. I think that they could very easily get bogged down in the RPG category, because the PS1 was just brimming with phenomenal RPGs. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see Alundra on there, and we'd probably see Suikoden 2, Xenogears Vagrant Story. I hope we don't see Legend of Dragoon, but there's going to be a lot of people that want to see that.
Just to clarify, by the way, yeah, Metal Gear Solid was a 15 over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Grandia?
Ooh,
Valkyrie
yeah,
Profile, Breath of Fire 3. There's probably going to be people that say, oh, we need to get Chrono Cross, Legend of Mana, any of the Dragon Quest, the Lunar games.
I don't think there's going to be too many RPGs on it.
Star Ocean, the second story. Jesus, there's they could just do a PlayStation 1 Classic RPG edition.
And you would be dancing all the way home with that bad boy.
Oh, man. Absolutely. But I think if we're going to choose RPGs, they've picked Final Fantasy VII, which is obvious. I think we'll see at least 2, maybe 3 RPGs.
Okay.
And I think from that, we would probably see... I don't know. I'm going to
Vagrant Story as well?
I'm throwing my weight behind Valkyrie Profile.
I'm not familiar with that one. But obviously, I'm not as big into RPGs as like you and Dan.
You know what? I think the second most likely one would be Suikoden 2. By many accounts, that is one of the best RPGs of all time.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of some other like massive classic games that from the PS1 era that like would just make me instantly think of PlayStation 1.
So, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey.
Oh, Christ, yeah. Oh, yeah, that would easily be
that has to go on there. Probably Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Wipeout.
Oh, yeah, a Wipeout game for sure.
Warhawk.
Well, we've mentioned a lot of racing games already, which is funny enough.
Yeah, but Wipeout and Warhawk are just they're synonymous with PlayStation as well. They're kind of those defining franchises. You mentioned Twisted Metal. I think we'd probably see Twisted Metal 2 over Twisted Metal 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is a weird recommendation, but I think we might see Intelligent Cube.
Oh, that was called something else over here. Karushi, I think it was called over here.
Yeah, it's some weird name to it, yeah.
Yeah.
What about Parasite Eve?
Now, that would be an interesting one because we never got the original one in
Really?
over here. Yeah, it was USA only, USA and Japan only, the original. We got the second one.
Side note, I'm really excited to play the PSP Third Birthday. It's a prequel to the first one. I picked that up in Missouri and I haven't gotten around to it yet, but heard good things about it.
Oh, Parappa the Rapper.
Yes! And maybe Jammer Lammy?
I don't think we'll get both.
No, we'll get Parappa first. Obvious choice. Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be on there.
Siphon Filter?
Do you think if they do MGS, they'll also do Siphon Filter?
Maybe. Ooh, here's one I didn't think of. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver.
I was just looking at that one too, yeah.
We might be looking at the same list. I'm on Wikipedia of the top-selling PS1 games.
What about Bushido Blade?
Yeah, again, not a game I've played, but I know it's quite synonymous with it. Any of the Cool Borders, like Cool Borders 2 or 3?
That's a good recommendation. 2 is phenomenal. Because you could go in and customize your own snowboard, and I'd always be really cool and put fuck on the bottom of it.
I don't think we get Dino Crisis.
Power Plant Simulator?
Yeah, you know the one.
What about some of the really obscure things like Einhander?
What? What the hell's that?
Einhander? It's a, I don't even know how, it's a it's a shooter. I think they have to put a shmup on there for the shmup fans.
Shmup.
Shmup. It's a scrolling shooter. Kind of looks like... I always confuse Einhander and Air Guys just because they're both goofy-ass names. One is a fighting game, another's a shooter. Don't get it, but...
Okay, so here's a question for you.
Here's an answer for you.
You said we don't... You said you think we don't get a Crash.
Okay.
What if I said Crash Team Racing?
I think we would be likely to see CTR over one of the Crash platformers.
Yeah.
I'd like to see CTR.
If they could put on... I know obviously it's not going to happen on this because it doesn't have online functionality, but it'd be cool if they did what Nintendo are doing and adding online functionality to these old games.
Yeah.
To play Crash Team Racing online. That would be ace. They should just remake that.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised they haven't revisited that series.
Yeah. I think they're all in with making a new one now, aren't they? It's going to be interesting to revisit a lot of these games because, I heard someone else online recently describe the PS1 N64 era as kind of a weird puberty stage for video games because you look back at old SNES games, old Mega Drive games, they look fantastic. And when we started getting into this 3D realm, they looked great at the time, but you look back at it now and these big polygonal shapes and these weird off colors and everything, looking back at it, it's a bit of an ugly era now in some ways.
Oh, yeah, because even companies that were producing phenomenal Super Nintendo and Genesis games were putting out these just hideously ugly PS1 games.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one for you. Tom would probably agree with this. Klonoa, Door to Phantomile.
Oh, maybe.
Man, that game was so good.
Is it Tomba? Or
Tomba? Yeah, Tomba. I was trying to think of that. It's like a prehistoric guy.
Yeah. I remember having a demo of that where I used to play because it had so many different quests, all along the same level of different things you could find, and every time I played the demo, I'd find completely different ones.
What about Jet Moto?
I don't know what that is.
Jet Moto. I don't even. It's a racing game. It's kind of like futuristic wave race. But if they're going to put Wipeout and Jet Moto on, did you guys get the Extreme 2K games over there?
I'm not sure.
Dude, those games were terrible. Or too extreme. It's 2 and then Extreme. Really bad.
Yeah, we did get those.
Luge and rollerblading and really bad
Never
games.
Played it, but I don't know. Oh, here's one. Croc.
The Legend of Gabo?
Yeah.
What about Gex then?
Potentially.
How about, wait for it, Mega Man Legends?
Nah. No. So, what do you think about the price point? Because it's
steep
over there, isn't it?
It's steep.
See, because I couldn't remember how much the SNES Classic was over here. So the PS1 Classic here is $89.99, which is only £20 more than the SNES Classic.
Yeah, the SNES Classic here was $79, so it's $20 more.
Yeah. Do you think that's fair?
I think it's on the upper end of. I think with the NES Classic, they hit that perfect impulse purchase price, and then the Super Nintendo's like, okay, I could spend another $20 for $30 for that additional.
See, the SNES Classic here was, I think, only £10 more, but you got 2 controllers.
I think the NES Classic was only $49, wasn't it, or was it $59? Maybe it was $59, but either way, the jump between the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic to me just felt like, ooh, that's getting up there. And now $100 for the PlayStation Mini, it's like $20 more, and you can get a brand new DS with a huge infinite library of games. It's just, I think they're pushing it.
See, people are already making points about the fact that the pre-orders haven't sold out yet on this. However, they haven't announced all the games.
Well, here's the other part of that, though. When has Sony ever, aside from a couple instances, been known to short produce.
Yeah, it's true.
Aside from the limited 20th anniversary edition and then that insanely limited translucent PS4, Sony's like, hey, we want money. Here's the product. I don't predict this one being hard to find.
Yeah, me too.
Because Sony's looked at what Nintendo did and said, okay, let's not do that. These people want these products.
Sony does what Nintendo don't.
That sounds familiar. I don't know. My initial gut reaction to this was, eh. And now that I started thinking about it and looking more into what would I love to physically just have access to on a modern HD TV and just pick up and play, I'm actually really excited about it.
I would be intrigued once we get... I think what I'm going to do once we get all of the games announced is I'll actually have a look, because a lot of the PlayStation 1 classics are still on the PS3 store.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to look to see how much they would cost to buy all separately, and then see how much it costs. It won't go up to $100, obviously, but hardware there as well.
It probably would, because most of the PS1 classics are $5.99 or $9.99. The Final Fantasies are $10. Most other games are $6. So to buy them all separately, you're probably looking at $200, $250.
Yeah, I guess.
So
yeah, because I think Metal Gear Solid over here is still like $14.99. Don't hold me to that.
So I just looked up Jumping Flash, first-person platform video game. Really? This game? This game gets put on there.
I've never heard of it before. Hang on.
Neither have I.
Flash PS1. I don't even recognize the cover.
Yeah. But whatever, there's going to be people that want that obscure stuff. So I don't know, man. I'm really looking forward to this thing.
Asshole.
This one, I think I'll actually open. And if I'm being honest, I've started to get the itch to open the NES and the Super Nintendo boxes. Mainly because, probably not so much the NES, but the Super Nintendo, it's just constantly in stock. Every store that I go into, I see 7, 8 boxes sitting on the shelf. Like, well, this isn't rare anymore.
Yeah, no, they did right with that second one.
Which is good. I don't intentionally like rare stuff, but if I have something that just, oh, hey, by the way, this is super rare, but the Super Nintendo's not rare anymore.
And to be fair, I don't know what it's like in the US, but you can even get the NES Classic quite easily now as well.
I haven't seen an NES Classic here in stock, and I'm kind of kicking myself because they had a controller for one sitting at a Target a few months ago, and I didn't pick it up. I'm like, I'll go back and get it tomorrow, and it was gone.
Have you looked on the actual Nintendo website? Because when they restocked the NES Classic, that's when I got mine from the Nintendo website, and I ordered a second controller at the same time.
Huh. I'll have to give it a look.
Yeah.
I think provided these are readily available, I don't want to commit to it yet, but I think we might utilize this as our annual straddling contest giveaway.
Yeah, sounds good.
I mean, we need a straddling contest.
Yeah.
So when do you think they'll release the full list of games, or do you think they'll do it a trickle?
I think they'll trickle it.
They don't really have a whole lot of time. We got 2 months pretty much.
Yeah.
2 months.
5 every 2 weeks.
Do you really think they're going to wait until like, hey, 3 days from now you'll have this thing, and by the way, here's the final games on there? Because what if one of those games is something that somebody's like, okay, I really want that. Oh, now I can't get one.
See, that was the reason why I got the pre-order in, you see, in case that happened.
That's true.
I don't know. I don't know. They, like you said, they have left this. They have left this quite late.
I do kind of like it. I kind of like the fact, though, that they're like, hey, here's this thing that'll be out in 3 months, instead of, hey, here's this thing that'll be out in a year.
Yeah, I think the Nintendo ones were announced June, July on their respective years, weren't they? And then
they were out like
they
November.
Came out, yeah. So they gave it a little more time, which is funny because they probably have a lot less than what Sony did. But the other way around, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll be interested to hear what... I'll throw a post up on Facebook. I'll be interested to hear what other people kind of hope show up on this thing. Oh! Yeah. Medieval.
Oh, Oh, yeah, that'll probably be on there.
But isn't there a remake of that in the works?
Yeah, but we've not heard anything since the original announcement.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
I know.
I'd be surprised if we didn't, in just what we discussed, didn't hit 75% of what's going to be on there.
Yeah.
There's going to be a few obscure ones that show up, and people are like, what the fuck are you thinking with that game?
Yeah, Jumping Flash.
Yeah, right there. There has to be an Oddworld. I would like to see Abe's Exodus, but I think they'll go with Odyssey instead. But, we could sit and talk about it forever, but we'll know in a few short weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad I've ordered one, and as I say, I'm getting it bought for me now. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad it's happening.
Me personally, I'm really looking forward to the PSX Classic.
Me too. Should we take some questions?
Let's do it.
We're doing a little bit of a shorter show today, Dan.
We are. It's because the Doom isn't long enough.
No.
It's almost like we didn't pick a game until the last minute.
Oh, it's Wednesday before the show. What are we going to play?
Do we have any emails, Eric, first of all?
Let me check, Dan.
Thank you.
I don't think so. I haven't seen any come through.
Have you looked?
No.
I knew you wouldn't have.
I gotta log it in. So if you want to send us an email for some reason, factorysealed@manatank.com. It's not doing anything. Here we go. I don't think we have any. So we could probably go to the old Facebook, facebook.com/groups/factorysealed podcast community, I think is everything. Right?
So
right.
some numpty called Bike Bison would like to know how much Doom could a Doom guy doom if a Doom guy could Doom.
Good one, Mike.
You're so funny.
Do you get it, Dan? It's like the how much wood could a woodchuck chuck?
Yeah,
riddle.
I got
you
it.
Get it?
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
But because we're playing Doom.
Yeah, it's a good job Mike typed that, because if he was speaking, we wouldn't hear him from in his car. Colin Niblaw. My question then is, which part of Mike's body is most likely the source of his psychic powers?
Butthole.
So you've went against what Mike thought. It says awaits the inevitable hair answer.
No. Well, he could have a ton of hair there. I don't know.
Mark Marcheski would like to know, what are our favourite Doom clones?
Ooh.
Well, I quite
Isn't
like
it-
Wolfenstein. I think Wolfenstein's pretty good.
Isn't it fair to say, though, that a lot of first-person shooters are technically Doom clones?
Yeah, you could say that.
You could say that. System Shock is good.
I've never played System Shock, actually.
We should probably play System Shock at some point.
We should add it to the list.
Do it! You can't say Wolfenstein, because Wolfenstein...
Oh, yeah,
first.
I guess. Duke Nukem 3D?
Yeah, the Duke Nukem games were great. The originals, not forever.
I'll be honest, I haven't really played a lot of them.
Half-Life? Could you consider Half-Life to be sort of a Doom clone in some respects?
Is Half-Life not responsible for ushering in a new era of FPS?
Yeah, you're probably right.
So Zach Farley, the man who birthed Piss Eyes, would like to know, which do you prefer, Doom or Quake?
Man, that's a divisive question, because I feel like Doom is more single-player based, but there is a multiplayer aspect to it. And Quake is just straight-up arena action. And I was never that good at Quake, because
You're an
it's
idiot.
so fast-paced.
It doesn't require skill.
Well, can y'all slow down? I can't shoot you.
Dad, take me home.
My poor childlike reflexes are too slow. Oh, that's just my brain.
Now, see, I don't really have a basis for this, because I haven't really played Doom or the original Quake. Actually, I have played the original Quake. It was included with Quake 4 or Quake 3?
Did Quake have a storyline? Or is it just multiplayer?
The one on the most recent story-based one did. I think that was
I'd
Quake
hope a
3 or
story-based
4.
Quake has a storyline.
Yeah, it was really impactful, actually, the last one. It was, you end up getting, like, his limbs cut off and turned into an alien and stuff. It was awful.
Wasn't Quake one of the launch
Quake
titles
4.
for the 360?
Yes, it was. That's why I've got it.
Got it.
So you're against a race of aliens called the Strog, who basically turn people into Strog. And that's
Sounds like
basically
a
the plot.
Bad dinner casserole.
Strog.
Mom, what's for dinner? Strog!
Strog and potatoes.
My dad used to say whenever I'd ask that, he's like, we're having gruel.
Oh,
Eat it, or I'll rub it in your hair.
Daddy Peterson's got a lot of mentions on this.
Yeah. That's his name, Daddy Peterson. They knew he'd be a father someday, so they just gave him the right name.
Matty Hallmark would like to know, have we played the Doom roguelike?
It's actually just called Doom Roguelike.
DRL.
Like TRL from MTV with Carson Daly, but with
Yes.
more murder.
I don't know what that is, but I will agree with you. Yes.
TRL was Total Request Live. It was a show that took place in Times Square, and people would call into this show and request music videos, and Carson Daly would bat his manly eyelashes at the TV, and people would scream.
Excellent.
It was a shitty show.
Sounds it, Eric.
Yeah.
But I have not played the Doom roguelike, surprisingly,
So,
consider I've never
it's-
played Doom. So
Top
but
down.
I do love a roguelike.
It's top down, and it's turn-based.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh. How strange.
It relies heavily on ranged combat, has a player inventory. I have not played it. I looked into it, and I need to learn about it before I say, yeah, I want to play it. I just don't know. I've never even heard of it before his question.
Yeah, it sounds intriguing, though.
But he put get it, so we have to get it.
We do.
He put it in caps. Sarah Irvine, following episode, Tiger Electronics handhelds, because we're masochists. Also, this is your regular Skies of Arcadia reminder. I'm also adding Spy vs. Spy and Maniac Mansion. Didn't we do Maniac Mansion?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure we did Maniac Mansion. Let's see. I'm typing it into...
Yes, we did.
Yeah. It's not actually listed as an episode, though, but it's under the Christmas Memories of 2016. Oh, we did talk about it within that episode. So, yeah, episode 121. We talked about
play
Maniac Mansion. Check it off the list, Sarah.
I don't think we played it, though.
We did.
We did!
Played it.
Those Tiger Electronic handhelds, I used to have one of them. Sonic one. It was so difficult.
I got to see which ones there are. Oh, I did have the Sonic one, yeah. I had the Aladdin one as well.
Oh, right.
Ooh, excuse me. There was one
Bless
for Nights
you.
into Dreams. Why didn't I play that for the show?
Yeah, I had the Sonic 2 one. Oh,
These
wow.
things sucked.
They were amazing when you were a kid, though.
Unless you had a Game Boy.
So, back to the questions. Mr. Dalton Sutor would like to know, have any of you played the Doom version where everything is Tim Allen, even the gun sounds?
I have not played it, but I've watched a video of it.
Me too. Did you not share this a while back? Because I
Yeah.
remember watching it, and
Yeah.
it's so bad.
Everything, even the bullets and the enemies and the walls and the sky outside. So there's one room where you go into and you can see the sky outside, and it's just one big picture of Tim Allen. It's so bad.
People have too much time on their hands.
James Hall, what's your favorite weapon to mow down demons with?
Shotgun.
Aside from the shotgun, the chainsaw.
I quite like the BFG. And the plasma rifle.
I thought you said the BFG was in the modern Doom.
It's also in the original.
But it's not in the modern one. It's not called BFG.
It is?
Huh? My weapon wheel is all maxed out.
Ah, it's a special item. Spoilers.
I must not have picked it up yet. I might not be that far.
No, it's story related. You can't miss it.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm at the middle of the destroyed Argent Tower.
I can't remember. It's been a while.
Oh.
It's,
does he mean... I wonder if he means in Doom or just in general. But...
just outside in Het.
Yeah. Well, are there a lot of demons in Het?
They are, yes.
It's the portal
There's
to
a
hell
lot of old people.
directly.
There's a lot of old people dying, and they tend to come back. We're on the cusp of hell in Het. That's
why you
where
have
the
to
name.
throw the-
That's where the name comes from. You see, it's just somebody's filled in the L's on the sign.
I'll just fix this with a couple little dashes, and that portal should close right up. Brian Ha. Doom on the Super Nintendo is great. Bad frame rate, textures, and no saving meant you had to remember everything if you wanted to reach the end of the episode. Also, dying and restarting some of the later levels with a pistol was brutal.
Oh yeah, if you die, you lose all your weapons.
But you can kind of cheese the system and save the game wherever you want. It's a pseudo save state.
Yeah, I was doing that all the time.
Yeah. Jeremy Sanford, am I too late to ask a question for the show? No, you're not. So his follow-up question, what are your guys' statute of limitations on spoilers for both movies and video games?
We tend to try not to spoil things.
I think that's kind of a loaded question. I think it depends on the impact of the spoiler as well as how popular the game is.
Yeah.
If it's something that's going to be pretty much just known by everybody and it's like 5-10 years old, like the whole Ares dies scene and things like that. Modern stuff, I'm really reluctant to talk about specific plot points and spoilers for modern games. Like, we're really careful in our WhatsApp chat to not really say anything specific about Spider-Man because Tom hasn't played it yet.
Or God of War.
Or God of War. Man, that's been hard to do.
I know.
But
our WhatsApp chat goes all the time with nonsense about games, so Ragsy doesn't check it that much anyway. He'll probably miss it. He'll be fine.
I think anything is pretty much fair game on previous consoles.
Yeah, I mean, you've had your time to play it, really, haven't you?
Yeah. Like, current gen consoles, nah. Anything older than that, like, all right, Tom, you're going to have the end of Final Fantasy X spoiled for you.
Yeah, you still give me flack for it.
It's what you get for being cheap when you were a kid.
Can't believe he hasn't finished that. We need to play that for the show as well.
Oh, man, that's
Probably
a long game.
Probably next year.
Yeah, we need to do about one Final Fantasy game per year.
We're going to run out eventually, though.
No, because then we can delve into 13 and 13.2.
Oh, God.
And 13.3. And then 10.2.
See, I like 10-2.
And then
it gets
Tactics.
flack, but I liked it.
And then Tactics Advance.
And
then
Crystal
Tactics War of the
Chronicles.
Lions. And then Final Fantasy 2. And Final Fantasy 3. And
we got it, Eric. Shut up.
Wait for it. Final Fantasy 4.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
We can skip 5.
Good.
But we should probably redo number 6.
Oh, 6, yeah. We've already played 7.
And 8. We could probably redo that.
I didn't play it, so I'm up for that.
But we just did 9.
You can finally finish 12.
When it comes out for the Switch. Hey, I made it further than I normally do in that game.
I didn't actually finish it.
Ever?
No, I finished it before. I didn't finish the remaster.
It's such a good remaster.
It is. I really like 12. It's a good game.
Yeah.
I just got distracted with the side quests and then forgot about the storyline.
Oh, the monster hunting.
Yeah.
Oh! I need it.
I need it.
So next show, get this. Like I mentioned earlier, we are going to be playing a Mega Man game because Mega Man 11 comes out. Sorry, just had a moment.
Yeah.
Just had a moment.
Go and clean your underpants and we'll be back next week.
This game coming out is the equivalent of how Dan is going to feel when Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out.
Oh, there will not be clean underpants in the house.
Crystal, I got to borrow some of your knickers.
Even they're gone.
Not again, Daniel. You creamed all the other ones over your stupid video games.
It's only Final Fantasy VII. It's never coming out though, so you know. I don't know. Maybe when Kingdom Hearts 3 finally comes out, they might talk about it.
So we're gonna. I don't know which one we're gonna play. Do you think we should play 2 because it's the most iconic, or should we?
I would say I'd probably play the iconic one.
I mean, I could play that one in my sleep. I got to the tail end of that game playing with the NES joystick controller.
Oh yeah, I remember you doing that recently. Yeah. Well, Eric, you are the expert on these matters, so we will leave it to your
realistically. They
judgment.
don't take that long to play, so I'm going to take my 3DS with and play a few of them because I've got the Legacy Collection.
Oh God.
Oh man, you guys have no idea what you're in for next show.
Do we actually need to be on this show? Or will it just be you talking about Mega Man for 3 hours?
Dude, it's going to be great.
Well, honestly, I don't think we even need to speak. I think you could just do it.
We've done one Mega Man game in the entirety of this show.
We've only done one Sonic as well.
No, we haven't.
We have. We haven't done Sonic 2, haven't we?
Well, but we spent like 6 weeks talking about Sonic Mania.
True.
Because Mega Man X is when Tom had his spectacularly late arrival.
I can't even remember, it's just so much has happened. We've been doing this a long time now.
6 years.
I know, it's just, I mean, you guys on the Facebook community and stuff, and you listeners in general, remember the stuff amazingly well that we just forget. You'll reference something that happened ages ago, and they would like, oh my God.
I think what's amazing is how many times people will listen through to past episodes.
Yeah, because I worry for these people.
They're the ones that keep us going. But back to Mega Man. We are going to do a giveaway contest.
Are we?
2 copies of Mega Man 11.
Oh.
Here's the catch. We are going to do a Photoshop contest. And you all have to channel your inner Dan Curtis.
This is going to be a brilliant contest.
It's going to be... I'm going to put myself out there, and we will all have a great hearty chuckle at my expense. You have to come up with your best, let me tell you about Mega Man picture, photoshopping me onto something. Like, if you go onto the Facebook group, you'll see hundreds and hundreds of ones that Daniel himself has done.
I'm sorry, Eric.
I will...
I feel bad for doing them, but they're just so fun.
I like them. They're great.
Oh, good.
I will post or Dan can post the cutout images so you don't have to worry about cutting things out yourself. Give you a few different options. I like the one with me laying on the Jeep. The different, the different head shots. I'm slightly terrified. I'm slightly terrified of what's going to occur.
Me too, but it's going to be beautiful.
And this will be solely judged on we will judge it based on the quality of the image, and we will pick the 2 winners. It will not be random draw. So Put on your Dan hat, kill off a couple brain cells, and open paint.
Vintage Eric is always a very popular one, I feel.
So we'll throw something out about that. You're going to have 2 weeks to do that. So if you are on the fence about purchasing Mega Man 11, you can just win it. Console of your choice. And we will send it to you. If you want to get in on it and you're not on the Facebook group, come join us. It's just such a wonderful group of people. Facebook.com/group/Factory Seal Podcast. Ask to join. We'll allow it. And then you can check for the pinned post, and that's where you have to post your entries.
I suppose you could email them in as well if you really wanted to, but you probably have no idea what we're talking about because it's on the Facebook community.
I almost prefer it to be on Facebook because then it kind of generates conversation and discussion and laughing for everybody involved.
If you don't have Facebook, make an account and join our community. Thanks.
Well, if you don't have Facebook, I guess you could email it to us, and then I'll post it out there with your name attached to it.
So it's basically just photoshopping Eric's head onto various different things. Enjoy.
Even though Dan can't win a copy, I predict dozens of entries from you.
Yeah, I think I've got them in already, to be honest. I'm going to let other people take the reins for now. I
can't imagine what goes through your head on a morning basis. You get to work and you're sipping your coffee and you're just having thoughts about me and Mega Man, and you're like, perfect. I'm going to do Danny, get that work done now!
What'll generally happen is I'll see something on social media which reminds me of it. And then I'll go, what type of Eric would I like to do today?